We're going to talk today about mindset. This is like a subject that usually gets overlooked, but it plays a big part in our business. I was thinking, because I talk a lot about mindset and, you know, there's other people that have talked a lot about mindset, I wanted to pretty much start, you know, in order for me to like better approach this subject, I want to focus on the main misconceptions that people come with prior to going into action, right? I think that tackling the subject of mindset will better be absorbed if we understand the simple and most basic information. Most likely, you guys already come in, you've already went through the test, spend weeks and weeks and weeks learning all that information. And if you've been here 2-3 months, you notice that all that information that you learned through passing the test or getting your license, you're pretty much using only like 10% of that information, right? So when you come in here, you're like, oh, so this is all it is. But for the people that are still, you know, trying to figure stuff out, you're going to notice that keeping it simple is going to be your best friend. Like whenever you think that things are getting too complicated, it's most likely you. I'm going to say that right there. It's probably you. It's really, really basic. This job is about 1, 2, 3. You buy a lead, you call the lead, and you sit with the lead. And if you close the lead, you know, that's it. You get yourself a client. So when you come into this industry, you already have to come with the spirit of servanthood, right? So this job is not for everybody. For anybody that has said, you know, anybody can do this job, I tend to, you know, not really be on top of that comment, because I'm a Zumba instructor. I'm a group fitness instructor. I come in from and with an athletic background. So anybody that can tell me that anybody can be a Zumba instructor, I'll be like, no, that's not really true. You have to have people skills and you have to have rhythm. So if you don't have rhythm, you can't teach somebody to dance. And if you don't have people skills, you can't be in front of people talking to them and trying to direct them. So it's the same thing with this industry. This is not for everybody. And it's just a matter of you realizing that early in the game before it gets too bad, whether this job is good or it's not good for you. But the main thing is really to keep it simple. So let's talk about pretty much the 4 misconceptions that I hear all the time, and then we'll get to mindset. Number 1 misconception, if you guys want to intervene, if you guys want to say something else, you mute yourself and just interrupt me whenever you can. This is a conversation between everybody. So the number 1 misconception, I have to know all the products details before going in the industry. Oh my God, I've been in here for 2 years and I still don't know the products, you know, in its entirety. I was talking to one of the agents that have been in the industry for 2 years when I first started, and I said, I'm scared of going into a home because I really don't know these products. And you know what he told me? He says, well, if you're a new agent and if you haven't had any experience in the insurance industry or life insurance industry, then you're going to be pretty much starting with your final expenses. If you start with your final expenses, there's really like 5 products that you should know about. So out of all the products that I thought, oh my God, the CBO, the 100, the IULs, and the this and that, when he said that, it kind of clicked. He said, you have 5 products that you have to know about. The American Eagle Premier, the Living Promise from Mutual of Omaha, your AIG Guaranteed Issue Whole Life, and that's pretty much it. Maybe American Amicable Prosperity, but they all look the same. They're all whole life. They all have cash value. They have living benefits, terminal illness, chronic illness. They pay when the person dies. They pay a death benefit to a beneficiary when the insured dies. And I was like, he said, that's your product knowledge. And I was like, okay. So all these weeks I was going to spend in the home, in my home, trying to figure out and getting brochures and trying to see if I can learn all the products. In 2 minutes, he clarified it. Then I'm ready for the home. Number 2, I need to know all the writing guides, before going in a home, because I don't want to sound unprofessional. I said that too. And the thing is, I've said all that. I told Athena, I don't know what to go in the home. You know, what if they say, you know, they have cancer? What if they say, like, what product am I even going to use? You guys already know and have heard it a million times and probably have it in front of you. We have a cheat sheet, which is your underwriting grid, that if a person comes in with a certain diagnosis like high blood pressure, you know, cancer, diabetes, issues, you're able to look into that grid sheet and you're able to know what product are you going to go towards so that the client gets approved. So if you're in a home, you really don't have to know all the underwriting guys. You have a cheat sheet, and that cheat sheet is going to help you be the most knowledgeable person there. First of all, you already went through a test, you passed the test, you got your license. So you already know more than the person that's sitting in front of you. Very little times have I sat in front of somebody that knows about life insurance. But for the most part, what they're doing there is they're wanting to protect their loved ones. So if something happens, that their loved ones are protected by either with the mortgage or their final expenses, right? So if it's keeping it simple. So the other misconception I hear, I can't go in a home, I just don't know what to say. What do you say when you sit in front of a person? What do you say? And Athena told me this. It says, do you know how to have a conversation with a client? I said, yeah, I know how to talk. She said, okay, so why don't you start a conversation? Start there. Figure out why they need the life insurance. Figure out why they filled out the form. And once you figure out the why, then fill out the suitability sheet. So in my case, your final expense sheet, and call me. I said, so I go in there and go, Miss Mary, why did you fill out this form? And she'll tell me why. And then I'm going to tell her, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to fill this out and then call you. Is that what I got to do? She said, initially, yeah. And then eventually it's going to come to you a little more rhythm, more stuff to say, more structure, better words, you know, more understanding, but you got to start somewhere. And I'm like, okay. So I went to Miss Wilhelmina's house, and I was, hi, Miss Wilhelmina, I don't know what to say. I don't know what product to go with. I have my underwriting grid, and I have Athena's phone, my upline. I went into Wilhelmina's house, and I sat there and I said, hey, Miss Wilhelmina, I am Rose. This is my my ID that says I'm a licensed insurance agent. So you fill this form out, Miss Wilhelmina. Why did you fill this form out? She says, well, I have a term insurance and it's about to expire, so I just need something else. And I was like, okay. And so when you had that insurance, who were you trying to protect? Like, who were we trying to, who's your beneficiary? This on me. I'm not kidding you. This is how bad it was. And she said, well, this is my daughter, you know, she has this, that. And I'm okay. So final expenses, she's living in a rented home. So it's not really like a mortgage protection. I understand why I'm there. Okay, so Athena told me to figure out the why and then to fill out this sheet. All right, so Miss Wilhelmina, if you don't mind, I'm gonna just take 5 minutes and I'm just gonna ask you some questions so I can better understand what products do you qualify for. I am an underwriter for all these companies, and your health is pretty much gonna help me determine which company we'll go with, okay? She said, okay. I fill out the financial inventory. I fill out the suitability sheet. Turns out she has COPD. I call Athena. Athena tells me she can go to Transamerica. And by that time, I don't know anything about Transamerica. I have not even seen the product. I just know how to go into the quoting tool. So I told Athena, is it possible that I can put you on speaker so that you can tell her, Miss Wilhelmina, a little bit about this product? She said, sure. So I put her on speaker. Athena explained the product, which is what I do with my agents as well. And she sold the product for me. All I had to do was just fill out the application and I left. I didn't know anything about anything. So I just kept it simple and I went back to my basics. We just got to figure out a really good why. We have to have a suitability sheet and a suitability sheet. Yes, a suitability sheet. And we need to know our underwriting guys. We need to know where our resources are in order for us to do the job and start getting paid quick, because we don't have time to be learning all these products. I still don't know all the products. And I've been here for 2-3 years, maybe. And the other misconception is that my life is over if I have a chargeback. Now I'm gonna go through real quick with the whole chargeback thing just to get it out of the way. Those chargebacks are never gonna go away. There's gonna be policies that are gonna fall off the books, and our job is just to continue to be consistent so that those chargebacks don't catch up to us. But if you ever have a chargeback, just think about it. If you have a $500 chargeback through America, you have two options. You can pay it, or they give you like some payment, payment options where you can pay every month. And they give you about 60 days for you to get that chargeback out of the way. You have 60 days to take care of that chargebacks, and they won't bother you as long as you're writing business. So you can just keep writing business until that chargeback goes away, or you can just pay it as a lump sum. Now I'll tell you this, if you're gonna pay that chargeback, if you do have $500 to pay for that chargeback, knowing you have 2 months to come up with that payment, this is what I tell you. $500, instead of putting it towards that chargeback, put it towards leads, right? Put it towards leads. Make those leads, make that $500, $1,000, $1,500, then paying your chargebacks. So if you have money to pay for your chargeback, invest that in leads and then pay it back with business written. Those chargebacks are never gonna go away. So it's just a mindset thing. Like, right, your life is not over, your business is not done with. It will be done with if you stop working and if you ignore the chargebacks. But you gotta know those are coming. So any other misconceptions, any other things that you can think of that you hear all the time, like what type of leads should I get? Hell, I don't know what type of leads should you get until I see you working. How much should I invest in leads? That's all with your upline. We got to figure out your budget. We got to figure out your ability to invest in leads. We got to figure out if there's any way that you can make some money if you actually don't have any money, for you to build some type of lead budget for you to start. But other than that, those are pretty much the main misconceptions that I hear prior to coming into the industry and before going into the whole mindset thing. But for me, the whole mindset is a really subject that still stays in my brain, because I didn't come here corrupted. I didn't come here with experience in life insurance. I didn't come here with bad manners. I pretty much came here with really good information. I was already in the office. I already could see how other people were having success. And these people were not different than you, Sherry, than you, Richard Palmer, than you, Constance. These are completely like just equal, they look just like you and me. They're coming from different backgrounds, construction, other insurance agencies, like the urgent care, and they're having success. Why? Because they're following a system. So I started working and I quickly saw that the main thing with this business is consistency and mindset. I know that the months that I'm not in the game, that I'm not consistent, I do really, really bad. And so the months that I'm like on my game, I'm always like up there. So when it comes to mindset, I'm going to talk about mindset when it comes to leads, mindset in the home, and mindset after the sale. So when it comes to leads, the mindset with the leads, I hear that all the time, I got to spend this much in leads and this and that. So leads is pretty much, if you look at your store, say if you have a Dollar Tree, you need inventory. That inventory will then turn into customers coming in and buying your products. And then you get, somebody help me with my English, commission, or you flip that, right? So you bought this deodorant at Richard, help me. You bought this deodorant.
Profit. Your profit.
Word.
Profit. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Profit. Right. Exactly. So your inventory, when it comes to this business, is the leads. Now, mind you, you're only spending $500, $1,200 a month in leads. This is, if you think about it, on a business standpoint, a very low overhead expense for you to be able to flip that money, so to speak, or get a profit from that money in a very short amount of time. You don't need storage. You don't need, this is my leads right here. That's where my leads are. So my storage area in my store is pretty much a $15 container. So when it comes to you, think about those leads as the oxygen of your business. Think about those leads as the products that you need to sell. Think about your leads as this inventory. So the more inventory that you have, the more possibilities of you to get a profit out of it. So leads is an investment. Leads is your overhead. Without leads, you don't have clients to sit with. Without leads, you don't have any possibility of selling anything. Unless you're the master of referrals, unless you're the master of prospecting, I have not seen a person that has not been quickly successful without leads, without their clients. Now, I'll tell you what, if you are not going to invest in leads, this probably is not the best business for you. If you're not going to stay consistent trying to find clients, this business is not the best for you. Family First Life is a lead-based company. So what we're saying is not you have to buy leads, is that these leads are here in order for you to be able to be profitable as quick as possible. Now, I have two friends particularly, Omar and Nico. Omar and Nico, they work at this insurance company, and they've tried to recruit me multiple times. They work at this insurance company. Well, all they do is prospect. They spend all day and they have to talk to 10, 20, 13, 15 people a day. And out of the 13 people, you know, they still deal with us a numbers game. Somebody's going to say yes, somebody's going to say no, they're going to get a bunch of no's. And that's how they build their clientele. So they just talk to people. Now, in this business, you either have time or have money. I don't have time, nor do I want to be talking to people via Messenger. I don't want to harass my family members. I don't want to be that person that nobody invites for like family dinners or, you know, how do you say, house parties, because Rose is going to start talking about insurance. I don't want to be that person. Now, if you want to be that person, you go right ahead. You can. You don't have to buy the leads. You can just talk to people and harass people all you want, and then you're still going to make money. Yes, you are. Somebody's going to say yes. But yeah, good luck with that. That's not us. Family First Life provides you with the leads for you to be able to have a big enough book of business so that you don't have to do that. So that's how I view the leads. The leads, I need to have a good inventory. If I don't have leads to call, then I need to get some more leads because I need to have people to call so I can, you know, close some sales, right? Help some families. When it comes to the mindset in the home, now, just picture it. I am in front of Miss Wilhelmina's house. How was I able to sell Miss Wilhelmina a policy? How was I able to help her family? I remember vividly that I was sitting there with no worry in my life. I mean, I had no worries at that moment. I wasn't concerned about what Wilhelmina would say. I wasn't concerned about whether I was going to get a no. I didn't even know if I was going to get in the home, to be honest. I just remember I sat in that home, I grabbed that lead, and I said, I'm going to have a talk with Wilhelmina to figure out what she needs, and I'm going to help her out. That's pretty much what I said. We're going to help with Miss Wilhelmina today. And I went in there and I did the very basic little that I knew. And I understand that now, now that I know a little bit more about the industry, sometimes I go in a home and I try to make it too complicated, and confused people don't do anything. So if I start talking about too much about cash value, if I start talking too much about this or that and the death benefit and the terminal illness and critical illness and this, the person that's sitting in front of me gets way too confused. What they want is protect their families. So the very basic knowledge that I had at that moment helped me help Miss Wilhelmina. But it was the mindset that got me there. My first door knock ever was three brothers. So those three brothers were actually, before I even dialed, I had my door knock day. And so I went to Cross, South Carolina, and I door knocked this house. This house was a very small house, and next to it was a place that I was completely in ruins. Looked like it just had burned. So, okay. So I knock on the door, and here comes Miss Ruth, and I go, "Hey, Miss Ruth." Again, don't know anything about what to say. I just have a lead. You fill this form out for the final expense insurance. And she said, "Oh yeah, give me a second." Pulls out a chair, brings out her brother and her sister, and they said, we all need life insurance. And I said, okay. So do you guys have any current life insurance? Do you have anything that, you know, that you had or lapsed or anything? I just didn't know what to ask. She was like, yeah, we had these policies. So she showed me. I didn't know what I was reading, didn't know really anything. I called Athena and she said, take a picture of what you're seeing. I took a picture. She said, oh yeah, so this is a final expense. She's paying this much and this is the death benefit. You probably would be better off if you go with Royal Neighbors. And I'm like, okay, Royal Neighbors, I know how to look that up. Boom, 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 saved them all $30. And I got myself 3 policies in the same home. I just did it. So I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm hoping that the main subject is really getting to the basics. Keep it simple, right? I knew nothing. I was able to help 150 families my first year. The second year, I was able to help 200 plus families that year. And all this has been pretty much going through the motions, keeping it very simple. So I am not a top producer. I am not, you know, Paul McLean. I am not Andrew Taylor. I haven't been to Hall of Fame. And I can tell you right now, and Miss Constance has seen me because we work in the same office. And Andrew, one of my agents, we talk on a personal level. I am going through the same motions and through the same struggles that you guys are, especially because there's like now new products and new carriers, new this, new that. I go through the same motions. I'm trying to figure out lead flow right now because so many lead vendors have come in and some other lead vendors like have fallen, you know, through the cracks. For example, when it comes to your leads, I had Leadrilla and Game Time were my main lead vendors. So Leadrilla and Game Time leads at that point started like diminishing in their flow. Now I have to figure out something else. I started going through other lead vendors. So sometimes you're gonna have to play that game of trying to figure out what lead vendor to go with outside of the CRM. So you always can go back to the CRM. But it's always good for you guys to figure out like at least 5 different vendors to be working for you on a constant basis so that if one shuts down, there's South Carolina, like for example, Game Time shut down South Carolina. Now I don't have Game Time, but luckily I had other 4 people working for me. So again, we talked about the misconceptions in the industry, how to tackle those. We talked about I have to know all the product details. I have to know all the underwriting guides. I can't go in a home, I don't know what to say. You guys already know about what to go in a home, the mindset when it comes to leads. And at the end of the day, I don't know how long I've been here because I don't have a, oh yeah, perfect. At the end of the game, mindset. You guys can do it. Now I'm sitting in front of God knows how many people, maybe 12. And out of all of you, maybe half of you at some point is going to realize this is not for you. But I would like to see every single one of you at least giving this thing a real try, right? August is quickly approaching. August is a big month usually. So it's a 5-week month. The kids are already in school, so it's not like you have them in the house, kicking and screaming. You are really in a good position if you start August strong. And this is the week before August, so you can pretty much start jogging. I would like to see all of you really, really sitting in your home right now and figuring out, number one, what's your weekly budget when it comes to the leads. So if you don't have a weekly budget, you probably need to start doing that right now. The main thing with the leads is that people try to spend like maybe $500 in leads and they want those leads to last you a whole month. It's just not going to happen. If you want to help 20 families, it's not going to happen. So a weekly budget. You want to figure out your schedule. If you have a month and you're going to be working a whole full-time schedule, you want to establish your lead, your dial days. So in our case, if you're working in telesales, then that's different. But if you're working face-to-face, like Miss Page, like me, like Constance, look at your Monday, look at your Thursday, protect your dial day. And outside of that, you should have 16 running days. So on a 5-day month, on a 5-week month, you will have 16 days minimum to work with. Out of those 16 days, have yourself a minimum goal of helping one family. So that's the one thing with this game. It is a numbers game. So we've already talked about serving families, but at the end of the day, this is a numbers game, and you're gonna have so many no's to get to the yes. So you can't have your heart broken too much. You gotta take the emotion out of it. You go into a home and you're gonna get a no. You call somebody, then gonna curse you out. Somebody's gonna shut the door. You're not gonna be able to help somebody because of budget or their health or whatever the situation may be, but you're gonna be able to help a family. So and then once you're done, so you got your weekly budget, you have your schedule, you have your 16 running days. I can guarantee you that if you keep yourself consistent in the month of August, you should be able to help 15 to 20 families this month. It's just a no-brainer, right? What you need to figure out when you start is how many leads does it take for you to make how many appointments? And out of those many appointments, how many people are you able to sit with? And out of those people that you sit with, how many families are you able to help? You got to start putting those things into perspective for yourself, for your upline, and you got to be in constant communication with your upline. So now I said 15 appointments and I was only able to sit with 4 and I was able to close 2. Okay, so you have a 50% closing ratio, but you were not able to sit with as many people because something that you probably did when you set this appointment. So something happened over here. So now we have to figure out your phone script. But if you don't communicate with the person that actually can help you with, then you're just going to be making the same mistake over and over and over again. Say you sat with 15 people and you were only able to help 3 people. Okay, something is it that you're saying in the home that you were only able to help 3 people. It could have just been a bad week, period. But we're just saying, if you don't communicate with your upline, we're not going to be able to figure out whether it's something that you probably said or didn't say in the home. Your demeanor, you didn't ask enough questions, like all those things will play part if you were able to sit with 15 people and you were only able to sell or help 3 families. Does that make sense? So this is a numbers game again, and it is on you to organize your business in order for you to become better on some of these areas of your day, so to speak. So I'm gonna stop now on a great note. If you have any questions after this call, you guys can text me or call me. I'll see you guys on Zoom. I'm gonna get in for a little bit. All right, bye-bye.